Today, we are following a dramatic and highly consequential development in the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war, a precision deep strike operation that has sent shockwaves through global intelligence communities, military analysts, and aviation experts. In one of the most daring long-range drone strikes of the conflict, Ukrainian forces have reportedly destroyed two of Russia's rarest and most secretive airborne command and surveillance aircraft, the Soviet-era A-60 airborne laser laboratory and the new generation A-100 Premier AWACS prototype. Together, these aircraft represent nearly $90 million in advanced military assets and far more in terms of strategic capability. This wasn't just another strike. This was a surgical hit on aircraft so deeply protected, so rarely seen, and so important to Russian high-tech and experimentation that the impact extends far beyond the physical losses. It strikes at Russia's long-term ability to maintain airborne early warning dominance, disrupts experimental weapons testing programs, and potentially resets the balance of high-tech reconnaissance in the region. According to preliminary assessments, Ukrainian forces deployed long-range, autonomous strike drones engineered for deep penetration into Russian airspace, drones capable of flying hundreds of kilometers, automatically navigating around radar coverage, and descending onto targets with remarkable precision. These systems represent Ukraine's new strategy, attrition warfare not just at the front, but against the heart of Russian strategic aviation itself. Russian sources attempted to downplay the attack, but satellite images, thermal signatures, and multiple independent intelligence channels indicate that two rare aircraft were indeed present at the targeted base at the time of impact. One destroyed aircraft is believed to be the A-60, a Soviet-era airborne laser testbed used to experiment with anti-satellite technologies and high-energy-directed weapons. Built on the Il-76 platform and modified with distinctive fairings and optical housings, the A-60 is one of the most unusual aircraft in Russia's inventory. Estimates suggest that only one functional A-60 remained, meaning its destruction essentially ends an entire branch of Russia's airborne laser research. The second destroyed aircraft, the alleged A-100 Premier AWACS, is even more significant. Still in prototype stages but intended to replace the aging A-50 mainstay fleet, the A-100 was Russia's answer to American E-3 Sentry upgrades and Chinese KJ-2000 early warning systems. Equipped with a rotating ESA radar dome, advanced data links, and electronic warfare capabilities, the A-100 was meant to become the center of Russia's future air command network. The project has already suffered a decade of delays, sanctions, and funding shortages, and the destruction of its prototype sets the program back by years, perhaps permanently. The strike appears to have targeted a key Russian aviation hub located deep behind the front lines. This facility, often protected by multi-layered air defenses, was considered one of the safest locations for experimental aircraft. But Ukraine's new generation of long-range drones, many built with affordable composite frames, AI navigation, and repurposed civilian components, has proven capable of defeating traditional defensive systems. These drones fly low, fly slow, and approach from unexpected angles, blending into ground clutter or exploiting gaps between radar layers. Once within range, they switch to terminal homing, locking onto the aircraft by heat signature, GPS location, or even preloaded satellite imagery. Witnesses reported multiple explosions, secondary fires, and a bright flash consistent with the ignition of onboard fuel tanks. The impacted aircraft burned quickly, leaving only scorched remains identifiable by partial fuselage structures and fragments of the unique modifications characteristic of both the A-60 and A-100 platforms. Russian emergency crews attempted to contain the blaze, but images reveal that the aircraft were beyond recovery within minutes. This loss is not just symbolic. It creates a substantial intelligence gap for Russia. The A-100 program represented a decade-long effort to modernize Russia's airborne early warning network. Without it, Russia remains dependent on aging A-50s aircraft that are fewer in number, lower in capability, and increasingly vulnerable. Several A-50 have already been damaged or destroyed in previous Ukrainian operations, meaning the fleet may not have enough operational units to maintain consistent battlefield surveillance. Furthermore, the A-60 laser testbed was central to Russia's strategic ambitions in directed energy weapons. The aircraft had conducted rare test flights related to anti-satellite targeting, battlefield blinding operations, and long-range beam stabilization experiments. Its destruction removes a unique platform that cannot be replaced quickly. Given the complexity of the laser systems and the specialized modifications required to integrate them into a flying test laboratory. For Ukraine, this strike carries immense symbolic weight. It signals to Moscow that even its most secure, experimental, and strategically important air assets are no longer safe. It demonstrates the reach and precision of Ukraine's expanding drone program, a program increasingly built domestically, allowing Ukraine to circumvent foreign munitions limitations and control its own strategic strike menu. This strike also reflects a broader shift in modern warfare. Conflicts are no longer defined purely by frontline clashes, armored maneuvers, or artillery duels. They are defined by networks, sensors, radar platforms, early warning aircraft, and command systems that manage the rest of the battlefield. By targeting Russia's rarest airborne assets, Ukraine is not merely destroying hardware, it is degrading the information architecture that Russia relies on to coordinate its operations. Ukrainian officials have not officially confirmed the details of the strike, maintaining operational silence. But several statements hint at a growing confidence in Ukraine's long-range precision capabilities. The drones used in this strike are believed to be part of a family of Ukrainian-designed aircraft capable of flying up to 10 kilometers, equipped with both automated flight systems and real-time remote guidance. These drones allow deep strikes without risking pilots and without exposing high-value Ukrainian aircraft. The strike also exposes vulnerabilities within Russia's defensive doctrine. Despite possessing advanced air defense systems like the S-400, Pantsir S-1, and various short-range anti-drone platforms, Russia continues to struggle against low-cost, persistent, swarm-capable drones. These drones are difficult to detect, even harder to intercept, and virtually impossible to use cost-effective countermeasures against. Shooting down a $10,000 drone with a $1 million missile is not sustainable, and Ukraine is leveraging that economic asymmetry effectively. In addition, this strike has raised alarm in Russia's military-industrial sector. The A-100 program, already hindered by a shortage of microelectronics, is now facing the near-impossible task of rebuilding a prototype that took years to assemble. Western sanctions limit access to critical components, and domestic replacements have struggled to meet reliability standards. Analysts suggest the program might be delayed until the 2030s or cancelled outright. Internationally, this strike reinforces the relevance of drone warfare. Military planners across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East are studying Ukraine's methods closely. The lesson is clear. Even the most secret and heavily guarded assets can be vulnerable to inexpensive systems operated with high precision. Nations that once relied on secure bases, hardened shelters, and deep rear positions must now reconsider their defensive strategies. Russia is expected to respond, but questions remain about how. It could attempt retaliatory strikes against Ukrainian drone production facilities or escalate efforts to disrupt Ukraine's logistics networks. However, Ukraine's decentralized manufacturing model with dozens of small companies and workshops across the country makes it difficult for Russia to eliminate these capabilities entirely. The destruction of the A-60 and A-100 is more than a tactical victory. It's a strategic and psychological blow. It represents an attack not just on hardware, but on Russia's vision for future warfare, a vision centered around advanced airborne sensors, directed energy systems, and integrated command aircraft. Losing these platforms is a setback that cannot be easily hidden or repaired. As the war continues, the role of long-range Ukrainian drones will only grow. These systems have already targeted oil refineries, air bases, radar stations, and naval facilities deep inside Russian territory. Now, with the ability to destroy some of Russia's rarest and most advanced aircraft, Ukraine has demonstrated that no target is off limits. And with each successful strike, Ukraine sends a message. Distance does not guarantee safety and our assets, no matter how secret or heavily protected, are vulnerable. We will continue to monitor developments as more information becomes available. For now, what's clear is that this was one of the most consequential airbase hits of the entire conflict. A strike that reshapes the strategic landscape and exposes the vulnerabilities of even the most advanced airborne platforms. Stay tuned for more breaking coverage, and thank you for watching the Military Matrix.